The topic for today is, I leveled 6 to 50 doing PvP, now what? So I want to give a shout out to everyone who's followed my channel over the years. We've been on a wild spree here, going from game to game, and I'd like to come back to one of the games that I truly felt, close to the developers, and that's Wildstar. So I've already got a rune for PvP video out there. Go check it out on my channel. And what I would like to do is cover some stuff for when you hit 50 on what to do when you hit 50 if you've only done PvP, which is probably one of the fastest ways to level, especially during the free-to-play. After level 6 you can queue for a random battleground, and what you will see is only this bottom portion. When you hit 50 you get this extra random one which gives you a bonus, so you can do a bonus random which gives you a loot bag, it gives you 125,000 experience and 20 gold. And in the end, what it comes down to is the prestige that you gain while you're in these places and the extra stuff that you get. So let's take a look at the vendors. When you hit 50, the first thing you're going to want to do is understand that you might not have seen this video before that. And you're going to want to buy the gold gear. And when I say that, it's not the legendary gear, it's this Eviscerator's gear for a stalker, and it's 15 gold a piece roughly, and it's this blue item level 65 gear. This is PvP gear for gold, and it's a great way to get started. If you are watching this as you're looking into, I'm going to level a new character, how do I best gear myself? As you're leveling, if you are in a guild and you're asking these questions, you might have already gotten this response. It's save your prestige and buy your 50 gear as you're leveling, so that when you hit 50 you only have to buy an X number of pieces. And that is this Prowler's Assault gear, which is item level 70 already. Now the important part about this gear is this is the gear that is used for upgrading. Alright, so these Season 2 enhancers, these upgrade only those item level 70 items to from blue to epic and then epic to gold or orange or whatever you want to call them. So if you only buy the gold ones, these cannot be upgraded with those enhancers. You have to get the Prowler's ones in order to upgrade them. So when you are leveling to level 50, you're going to start buying them, and I would recommend buying like the most expensive pieces. To start with, like I think the weapons are pretty expensive. They're 3,600, and then you start hitting like the 3,000s, 24s, and you work your way down. Start with the most expensive ones, work your way down. Whatever's left over when you're done, yes, then go ahead and buy the gold ones until you get the prestige to buy the replacements. After that, once you buy your gear, you can do other stuff. The next thing I want to talk about, once you get those base items, which is the first things I would suggest you getting, because after you get those base items, the rest of it is kind of a really set motion of what you're going to do. You're going to be doing PvP, hopefully as pre-made groups, join a guild or something, and go out and do the content, join a group, do dungeons, or not dungeons, but battlegrounds, and, complete the content, clear some stuff, get tons and tons of prestige, especially on like what we just had, which they will probably repeat, is they had double XP weekend. It was ungodly awesome. I'm going to tell you right now, between the daily rewards of getting a flask of riches, which gives you 25% prestige, or even the 8% prestige from the renowned vendor, I mean, it was awesome. You were getting, 1 to 2 matches, you get a piece of gear even if you just hit 50. Go and do that, you gear yourself out fast. So after you get your gear, you have a whole bunch of prestige as you're doing PvP battlegrounds, or you're doing war plots, and you're doing arenas for your contracts and stuff like that, which I will get into. you're getting all this prestige. What do you do with it? We're going to go into the Consumables vendor, which is in the back here in Thade, and she likes to sell some stuff. Sorry, she's in the front, or he's in the front. And in the Consumables, you've got your Consumables, and I want to focus on the amp and ability, okay? And then you've got rune crafting bags. Alright. So let's talk about the amp and abilities. So the amp and abilities consumables in here, these are probably your priority. Once you max out your amps and your ability points, any spec anyone lists on any website, be it WS Base or Jabbit Hole or whatever, you'll be able to do, because you will have all of the talent and amp points available for you at the time. So you get these, they're very expensive. You can only buy these two once, and then you're stuck with the 8,000 for the amps. You can buy the 5,000 ability once, and then you're stuck with the 10,000. It's something like 140 some odd thousand prestige to get all of them till you're at max points. Once you are at that, then you can start focusing on the rune crafting bags. Now, as you've been leveling, you'll get these chests and such like that from completing PvP matches, and they'll give you items that you can salvage, and they will probably be giving you high rune crafting mats, so high rune craft or high rune fragments and such, and class tokens and class set tokens and whatever. Those are the ones that you'll probably end up using just to rune out your gear. So you'll get your full blue prestige set. You will, as you're opening rune bags, you'll also get these items, which are weapon enhancers or chest enhancers or whatever the item is, and you'll upgrade your items to orange. As you do that, you'll be replacing all the rune slots with probably the high rune crafting items to get all of the actual set bonuses for your runes in every single piece of gear. And then after you get all of the high ones, you will be taking your superb fragments that you've been storing up, hopefully, and not selling, and you will be upgrading the odd slot. Now the only difference is high and superb. They will both count towards the bonuses on the runes. However, the superb has a higher actual base stat. So some stats might have a multi-hit or a crit severity or a crit hit or something on it, and it will be higher on a superb than a high rune. So that's the difference. And superb is the highest PvP set, which is why on the PvP vendor you cannot see the pure or divine rune crafting bags. They're on the PvE vendors. So you're going to be spending, in like a nutshell, the intro is hit 50, spend all of your prestige you gain from 50 on the most expensive to least expensive PvP gear that you can get. When you hit 50, buy the rest of the gold ones, and then you'll have the power to kill more people, hopefully win more, and then fill out the rest of your blue gear with prestige. After you hit that, buy your amp and ability points. When you're done that, buy all of the rune crafting bags you can with all of your prestige, and you should have enough fragments and tokens and stuff to at least rune out your full set, so your gear will be completely runed out perfectly, and then you upgrade it as you play the game. That's basically it. Under no circumstance are you to go over to this little dude here and go into the Season 2 enhancers and buy these until you have like 1-3 items where you need upgrades. Most of the times, by the time you get all of your runes done, and the ones that you haven't completed are on non-orange gear, most of the time you will have enough of these that you'll have between 1 and 3 items that are not orange. They'll probably all be purple at least. So at that point, yes. Once you've got all of your runes and you need those orange slots, and you haven't had any luck and you hit 5,000, yeah, buy a weapon enhancer, fill it out, fill your runes, and then if you don't get lucky enough, do the last few pieces. But don't spend your money early on the weapon enhancers. You will get the majority of them, and then you'll be like me where you get non-stop weapon enhancers because that was the first item that went orange, and you've gotten 7 of them so far. So I hope that helps some of you guys who are wondering how to spend your prestige as you level and you gear up your character doing PvP. Besides doing randoms, make sure that you're going over to, and this is in Thade, this little weekly, and then you have your contract. Make sure you're going into your contracts, doing your PvP contracts as best you can, except for the war plot ones are kind of a pain, but do them if you can, especially if you get into a guild where they'd run them, even if it's just queue as mercenaries and all that kind of stuff. Best of luck to you guys. If you have a question, post it in the comments below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in Season 2.